ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball. Come out to the ballpark as the Ferry Hawks welcome in the Charleston Dirty Birds May 5th through the 10th. Grab the kids and come on out. We kick it off on Tuesday, May 5th with Cinco de Baseball with $5 tickets and $5 food and beverage specials. And we end the week as we celebrate all moms on Mother's Day. Moms get in free. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
Good morning. This is Mike Stoller for the Stoller Real Estate Report. It's an interesting time in real estate in New York and in Miami. I have an individual who's been very involved over the past 25 years in all aspects of real estate. He is the managing partner at Alchemy-ABR Investment Partners. His name is Brian Ray, and he's been a friend, and he's been on the show in the past, and he's going to provide his insight to what's happening in the office market, the luxury condo market, as well as retail and everything else. Brian, thanks for being here.
Always good to see you, Michael.
Okay, so let's talk about what I'm totally surprised when we spoke the other day, the rent that you're getting at your new property on 57th Street on Billionaires Row.
Yeah, we're very excited. At 125 West 57th Street, it's been a long time coming. We've been involved with the site for over 6 years in partnership with the Calvary Baptist Church. We actually built them a condo at the base of the office tower and delivered it back to them at the end of 2025. So we're retaining the office tower where we have 17 floors of space to lease, and we have an amenity floor, world class. And then we have a separate retail condo, which we've leased out to one of the top restaurant operators in the country.
Is that the individual from Philadelphia?
No, this is 105 Hospitality. Our good friend Dan Daly's, one of his top brands is called Mother Wolf. And they're one of the top restaurants in LA, Miami, Las Vegas, and they're going to launch a new concept with us in New York City, which should be opened up early of 2027.
Let's talk about the rents. In 2019, when you started on this project, you were projecting 160 maybe, if that high.
Unblended, probably a little less. So we were fortunate. We had a great partner, Kane International, which is now Kane. I have to mention them. Our timing was very stressful pre-COVID. It was time to close a construction loan, and things went sideways in New York, and we were able to get through that with the help of the Calvary Baptist Church leadership, most wonderful people. And we navigated. We started building through COVID. Our timing was unique in the fact that when we were starting to buy out the project, we had all the inflation when the banks had some problems a few years ago. So our buys were higher than we projected. But one of the great benefits and interesting opportunities we had coming out of COVID was a lot of these great companies, private equity, hedge funds, law firms, family offices. They all wanted new space. They wanted more walkability. And we were the beneficiaries of that. So we got very fortunate where even though our buys were higher than we thought, rents have picked up substantially from our underwriting. And we've been lucky.
I mean, most people would not believe that you have a blended rate in some of the office space as high as $230 a foot.
Yeah, we're heading north of that. We're starting to lease up the tower. We have one of the great leasing teams in New York City, led by Mitch Konsker from JLL, and Christine and Kate and Turk and Christine. So we're very fortunate with our leasing team. We've been grinding very, very hard. We've delivered world-class space, views of Central Park. So if you look at our tenant mix, they're mostly private equity and family offices, and they want to be in the Plaza District, and they want to have views of Central Park. We have ceiling to floor glass, 14.5-foot ceilings, floor to slab. So it's great product. Minimal columns. We had a great LBG construction management firm built the building for us. Great architects. We had Gensler do the interior of the amenity floor, which is truly unique and special. And we had FX Collaborative design the building from inside out. So
let's talk about the amenity space.
Yep. So we made some decisions. I mean, we had about 6,500 square feet of interior and about 3,200 square feet outside. We thought of doing a gym. We thought of different components, but we really wanted to be an amenity for the building user. So we designed an amazing executive conference suite so you can come in there and have board meetings, bring in people from around the globe. We did a catering kitchen. So we have a great seating area. We have a beautiful outdoor space that's landscaped. But most importantly, it's really catered towards conference facility, so they don't have to build a
What's the average space that a tenant is taking.
Everybody's taking 10,000 feet. Our last 3 leases that were either done or executing or in negotiation are all multi-floor tenants. So it's been a great audience. We're really picking up. I think by the end of this quarter, we should be almost 70% leased. So we're really, starting to achieve some good milestones for us.
Let's talk about some of the condominium projects you're working on in New York City.
Well, the condos are things that are kind of in the pipeline. We're more focused on some of the rental buildings we're building. Condos there's a lot of action, a lot of activity. I'd rather my partners, Ken and Joel, speak to that next time they're on your show.
Right.
But we've been fortunate during that same downturn with the inflationary periods and the banks went down. We were able to buy 2 great sites on the Upper East Side to build rental towers.
Where are they?
One's on 88th and 2nd, and that building will be delivered in the fall.
How many units?
That building on 88th and 2nd is about 45 units. It's all fair market. It was a 5-parcel assemblage. We sold off 2 that were existing buildings, and we built along the avenue at 88th and 2nd. And that's all fair market. Rents, obviously, it's a very tight market. There's a lot of word on what's going on. So we're very optimistic about where rents are, where they're going.
What do you project the rents?
Definitely north of $135 a foot.
$135 a foot.
Yeah.
So that equivalates into what for a 1-bedroom?
1-bedroom, could be, $12,000, $13,000 a month. We have some 4 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. If you look at what we're building, the majority of our units are 3 bedrooms. We're catering to that Upper East Side family that's not ready to buy yet, that has kids in school.
So how large are these units?
They average, 900 to 1,500 square feet, and then some of the bigger units are closer to, 2,000. But we're excited on that building. And then we're building another building. We just closed financing with Helaba. Was in the media lately on our First Avenue project. And that is a 45X project. That building...
Explain what a 485X is.
45X really replaced 421A. I think we talked about it a little bit when I was on your show last. Basically, it's an affordability allowance with a tax abatement to build affordable housing. So about 20% of our units, we'll call it, are going to be rent stabilized, and the rest are fair market. So we're excited on that project. Very similar underwriting to what we're going to see on 88th and 2nd. We did a great loan with Helaba. We have another great lender, Affinius, did our loan up on 88th and 2nd. They did a loan for us. We built a tower in Chelsea on 23rd and 8th. We completed about 2 years ago. They were a lender there. So we like to come back and do deals with the same lenders and same partners, and we have great partners.
Let's talk a bit about Florida.
So Florida...
I mean, you're a native-born Floridian.
Actually, born in New York City, grew up in Florida, but good memory. We've owned buildings in Florida. We sold them post-COVID. We're very fortunate we got out of our buildings at a nice profit in Palm Beach County. Very familiar with Miami back in my RFR days. I was lucky enough to do some projects down there. So we had a deep set of relationships on the capital markets front, on the leasing front, on the sales front, on the financing front. We tied up a site a few years ago, Salvation Army, heart of Wynwood, which is a very cool, gritty area. It's like compared to Williamsburg in Brooklyn. And we're building a condo there, 12-story condo, 186 units. Our capital partners are a great group out of Brazil called Galapagos. They're, I think, maybe the 3rd or 4th largest asset management firm now in Brazil. We had a great trip down there. We met their whole team, wonderful people. And it's just a great project. We're opening up our sales office.
And what's the units going to be selling per square foot?
About $1,100 a foot. Douglas Elliman's our sales agent down there. Jay Parker, Sharon Nowitzki are just a great team. We're very excited about that. We're opening up our sales office across from Wynwood Walls, and we think our timing could be great. There's been 3 or 4 condos that have been built over the last couple of years, and they did very well. A lot of what's been built by a lot of New York developers is rental product, and they had a much better basis than we had. We pivoted to condo, again, post-inflationary period, so our condo underwriting is strong, and you could utilize deposits in Florida, so the economics are strong, and we're very hopeful that we're going to do very well and sell the units relatively quickly.
What are you planning to do in the future in New York?
We are very active. This is the busiest we've ever been as Alchemy and Alchemy Properties and Alchemy-ABR Investment Partners. We're seeing a lot of stuff. We have great partners like Carlyle and Kane and AW and Prudential and BlackRock, and we have great international partners out of Japan. and South Korea, Dacian, and we're just very fortunate. So we're very busy in New York. We're looking at a lot of things. We have two.
Would you build another office building in New York?
Yeah, we've looked at some sites. We were fortunate. Our building on 57th Street was done. It was small enough that we didn't really need an anchor tenant. So if you look at some of the bigger towers that are getting built, they really need to get anchor tenants, and there's only so many of those floating around. So we were able to build a spec building. We got fortunate. We had a great capital partner that went spec
You
with
also
us.
had a great location.
We had a great location. We had a great kind of structure. There's no base of the building, so we start at 165 feet, I believe, where the first office floor kind of sees the skyline and the park. So it's a unique asset. But no, we'd love to do more office. We're looking at a lot of office. It's still very challenging to find equity for office. The banks are, I think, healthy in a lot of ways, as well as I do. I think the banks are coming back in for the right assets. But we own an office building in Midtown. We're trying to recapitalize that one, and it's a very thin bandwidth of equity. So we're talking to some non-traditional LPs that necessarily wouldn't have been the buyers of office historically.
So what do you project on the office to residential? What's your feel?
We've looked at a lot of that stuff. Most buildings, some of the older buildings, 50s, 60s vintage, they're just big floor plates. So you might have to do a light well and some other things. We've looked at some of the other stuff that's getting built now. It's not our expertise. We've done it with Woolworth Tower, but that was unique. My partners Ken and Joel built that.
Yeah, that was a very unique deal.
Unique layouts and just spectacular space. It didn't really require like a major retrofit like some of the older existing stock does. But it's something we've looked at. I think that there's going to be a lot of incentives needed by the city to vacate some of these spaces and not have your taxes so high while you do these. But hopefully the government in place is going to work with developers to create a lot more housing, because obviously New York City needs more affordable housing.
So in conclusion, I think you were very positive on New York, definitely Florida.
And North Carolina. We're building a project in Raleigh, North Carolina.
How do you get into North Carolina?
One of our partners, Blake, grew up in Virginia, knows the market well. He pinpointed a great site next to Duke University in Durham. We started building a townhouse project through Alchemy Properties. And then we had a site to build rentals on one of the great pieces of real estate in downtown Raleigh on Nash Square. So we were originally going to build a rental tower, but as we've been talking about with the capital markets and inflation fluctuating, we pivoted to condos. So we're partners with New Valley in that one. John Lumley is a great friend and partner, and we just brought in a new partner, Crimson Capital. It's their first deal with us. So, we're just very fortunate that we have great partners and great lenders, and most importantly, we have an amazing team of about 30 people in-house between architects and project managers.
I think you, Ken, and Joel have done a very good job. And I project that 2026, 2027 will be great years. And thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. You're one of the true icons in New York. And have me back anytime, my friend.
Thank you.
The Marine Toys for Tots foster care program is bringing hope to children who need it most. Every 2 minutes, a child enters foster care, often with only a small bag of belongings. More than 400,000 children face trauma and uncertainty, many before age 8. This May, during Foster Care Awareness Month, Toys for Tots is creating Room for Joy. In 2025, nearly 375,000 children received comfort through toys, books, and essentials, reminding them they are not alone. Donate now and change a child's life.